Hi, my name is Justin Collins. I'm here from MathCo. I'm based out of Seattle. I'm a retail SME here. I've been with the company for most of the time it's been in existence. And joining me today is both Joey and Amit, who lead our retail practice. Joey?
Hi, I'm Joey. I have about 20 years of experience across retail, CPG, high-tech, and automotives. Amit?
Hi, my name is Amit Shah. I have a decade of experience in consulting and I've been a data science practitioner in the past, working with most of the retailers, solving their problems day to day. Excited to be here.
And so today we're really here to talk about kind of some of the trends we've seen in 2024 and what we're really expecting to see both from our customers and across the industry in 2025. And so I'd like to start off this conversation by talking about how online or e-commerce, right, and in-store commerce traditionally were sort of separated out, right? But as we've seen with some of our clients now, they're starting to play different roles, but the need for omni-channel measurement and thinking about a seamless integration between these two channels, we've seen that need coming up a lot. And specifically about how in-store is being used for experience with the brands, whereas online is more about the ease of buying something quickly, being able to return it. And so I'll start with you, Joey. Like, what have you seen across our customers and kind of like how this has played out?
Sure. Yeah, I think up until the pandemic, we were sort of saying ping-ponging between in-store and e-commerce. Then during the pandemic, we were like, oh, in-store has nothing to do with anything anymore. It's all e-commerce. But now I think we have resolved that. We have resolved that into thinking that, hey, in-store and e-commerce are going to go hand in hand, which is where you're going to see that brands are going to make that connection with customers in the store, and then the customer is going to go online and shop what they need, the convenience part, which brings us to the fact that we will need that omni measurement to understand how in-store and e-commerce is playing out for the customers.
No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And I know that, in looking at that, there's this trend of buy online, pick up in store, right? Which is also where it's not just the experience, although the brands are looking to create that experience, but they're also leveraging the ease of online, but instead of having to wait 2 days for shipping, you can go get it in the store. And so, Amit, I was just wondering, have you seen any other trends along the lines of like how some of our customers are trying to make this seamless integration, not just from measurement, but also in terms of like one experience, if you want to think of it. I think the best way to get across what I'm talking about is one of our clients said, I see our online store as the step before our front door into our physical space. And so is there anything that you want to add in terms of what you've seen with our customers?
So most of what I've seen, it really depends on the kind of product that you're retailing for. There are products within food and consumables, people would be willing to go to the store, pick them up. But then there are huge electronics, let's say, right? You need that expertise to come in from the store to explain. Sure, you're knowledgeable, you can buy it on e-commerce. But then there is a need for you to go to the store, understand the product, because you're going to spend a lot. So depending on the kind of product, I think retail works. I mean, the store presence kind of works. And then there are certain products that you're very familiar with, right? You're using day to day. So you want to shop it online. You don't have that need to go to the store and pick it up. So those are a lot more, it's a lot more convenient to just shop it online with the convenience of returning a product, right? E-commerce has just like got so many customers, going to their website. And I mean, it's a matter of convenience still. So it's still convenient for people to go to the store and shop, but depending on what you're shopping for.
No, and that makes sense, I think. And sort of building on that, one of the things that we've seen is this move to hyper-personalization, right? And this kind of goes to your point about the in-store. You're needing extra information or extra, that extra touch of experience. And so one of the things that we see is that with this hyper-personalization, I know if I think back, say 3 years, we're doing customer segmentation, right? And it's like, is this the millennials segment? Is this the Gen Z segment? Is this the,
new shopper?
Yeah, new shoppers, right?
Yeah.
You got all these, right? And now we see, our clients moving towards this thing that they call the cluster of one, right? Or real hyper-personalization. What does Amit need? What does Joey need? And trying to provide some of that in-store experience online. And so I'll start with you, Amit, this time. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the things like maybe targeted promotions or dynamic pricing? Like how does this work in terms of this hyper-personalization?
So for a lot of these personalized marketing, it's also directed towards the customer that are likely to churn as well, right? So a big driver of why you want to personalize, of course, everybody wants to increase their sales, but after moving from that segmentation era, because you know now with analytics who is going to churn, right? So hyper-personalization becomes a great tool to address that problem. Because I know who to churn, I can effectively market because I know what Justin needs and I can tell you exactly what you need and where you can get it from. I can give you a leverage as an offer to pick you up. Because the value of a customer as understood by a retailer is not just the transaction that you're going to do, but it's a lot more than that, right? Which is where a lot of lifetime analysis that we do comes in picture, and it helps the retailer get a perspective of what ammunition do I have to pursue what interests you in the market, and a big portion of that is hyper personalization with availability of data and all.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And Joey, like I know, when we talk about like AI tools for making the online shopping easier, right? There's an element of personalization to this, and I know. So, like, what are some of those tools you've seen that our clients are like putting out there to drive this?
Actually, that's interesting that you ask, Justin, because I like to think that AI is now making the shopping experience almost telepathic. Telepathic,
Nice.
yes. So to give you an example, one of our clients, they have this an AI tool which helps you plan parties. So if you have the Super Bowl coming up, it can recommend, here are the things that you need, maybe wings and something else, maybe soda, stuff that you would need for the party, and makes that and adds that to the cart. So, it makes it so intuitive, so quick. And then you also have that ease, right? You immediately connect with the retailer and think that, there you go, I have everything here. I'm not really going to the search space and typing for wings. I'm actually typing Super Bowl, and I have everything in here. And in another retailer in Europe, they have the option of uploading the picture of your refrigerator, and you will get the suggestion of the gourmet meal that you can prepare. And then based on what you have in your refrigerator and you don't, it is going to give you a recommendation on what to put in your cart.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I was saying that it makes it almost telepathic. I go into the app, it knows what I need. Right.
So I think that, logically then, to get to this hyper-personalization, you've got to have data, right?
Yeah.
Got to have data. Got to have first-party data. Well, we're increasingly in an age where people are more and more hesitant to give away their data, right? My phone asks me all the time, would you like this app not to track you, right? This happens all the time now. And so the retailers are having to get smart, right? How do I get that data? And this is where loyalty programs come in, right? They're basically saying, and they don't say this out loud, but we all know now, in exchange for your first-party data, I'm going to give you something. Maybe it's discounts. Maybe it's just the feeling of I know you better. Those don't usually work, right? And so what are, I'll start with you this time, Amit. What have you seen that these retailers are doing to try to drive people to those loyalty programs? What are they using to leverage for that?
So retailers, so there are a lot of different types of loyalty programs, right? There are certain programs where you get like dollar discount off, and that works for a set of population. There are certain retailers that give augmented services, right, which are not directly related to your retail, but let's say you can get a better deal in an airline expense that you're going to make, or it is going to make a part of your life easier because you come and shop at our store.
Sort of like the tools you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe they offer the access to that just for signing up.
So that's right. So if you will see that loyalty is divided into maybe a subscription program where you pay a fee to be a part of that service, and you derive a lot of value from that, right? Amazon Prime. You're going to get
Costco,
like Costco, like 2 day off, 2 day shipping and things like that.
Sure.
But then the other part of loyalty is that you shop with us. Your loyalty program is free to join. But then I'm going to give you additional accesses. For example, early access to Black Friday shopping, right? Or it's your birthday month, I'm going to give you a free tote, right? Or something like Sephora does. If it's your birthday month, you're going to get a nice fat gift there, right? So what it does is it creates that connection and it gets that data. And interestingly, even when you sign up for these free loyalty programs, it might even ask you questions like, what interests you, and it will give you some 10 choices of interest, and you will, and of course, if I go to Sephora.com or I'm trying to sign up and I see all those options, of course I'm going to take, oh yeah, Moroccan oil something, oh yeah, this, some lip gloss, I'm interested in all of this, and immediately I have given them data to be added that, hey, Joy is a person who is born in this month, is interested in all of these things, and bingo, I start getting recommendations of relevant products to buy.
To a retailer, it's not only important what you shop and how much you shop for, but in your lifestyle, what's your lifestyle like, right? Like how else are you engaging your time on? All of this is also data. So which is where loyalty today is not just about the commerce or the transaction. It's a lot more than that. It's more about understanding who you are, because then I can personalize what I want to send you. The hyper-personalization becomes active.
Yeah. And so I know that, we've talked about a little bit about like those loyalty programs, but there are certain brands that don't have either the ability to do that, or there's not a good way for them to do that. But instead, what they'll do is use, say, subscription service models, right? Or other kinds of memberships. And so like for me personally, I know I might be in the minority here, but I actually like some of these subscription service models, because like for me, the coffee that I buy, I don't want to remember to buy coffee. Instead, I have this scale, okay? And I put my coffee bag on the scale. And when it gets low, they reorder it for me immediately.
Yeah.
And it's a good way for them to get recurring revenue. But what did I have to do to sign up for that? They gave me the scale for free. What did I give them? I say free.
Free.
I gave them my data.
Yeah.
I said, this is who I am. This is the kind of coffee I like. This is what I buy, etc. Right? And so that's another way that we see being able to get this first-party data, right, through these subscription service models. And other things that you can unlock here, right, are VIP experiences, right? Or this is where those companies that bring those curated boxes in, right? Think about, a lot of people don't think about it, but it's not just what they're selling in the box, and they're like, oh, okay, I get a box, and part of what I'm paying for is the experience and the novelty of this. And so obviously what I'm paying for that box, what's in it costs less than that. Okay, sure. But what you're also getting is they're like, hey, the more you tell me about you, the more I curate it for you. And the more valuable that data is for them to be able to sell.
You can't also forget the fact that the customer in this process feels special. I give you my data, but I also feel special.
Right? That's a really good point.
So if I buy Bombas socks, then, and I, post a short reel on Instagram, all my friends around who are my followers are going to now know about the Bombas socks, right?
Yeah.
So I become an influencer, and I don't even do this as a living, but there are so many people who are doing this for a living, and the number of people that they are able to reach through this affiliate strategy or social commerce strategy is just incredible.
It's massive, and they're what they're tapping into is, again, we're kind of going back to the feeling part of the brand, right? They trust these people that they follow on social media, and now they're saying, oh, well, I trust them, and they must be right, and it doesn't feel like Bombas is selling you something. It feels like your friend that you feel like you're connected to on social media. And so this actually kind of, and the strategy on top of this is then you can easily buy from that video or from that reel or from that post.
Yeah.
And using that as one of the levers that and we're seeing even the larger brands move to this now, because it used to be exactly what you said. if you didn't have a fat marketing budget, right, you would use this strategy. But now, even the people with fat marketing budgets, I mean, Callaway
Absolutely.
is starting to eat into the market that TaylorMade and Titleist have cornered because they're like, they did this first. They moved first on this, and they're starting to eat into that. So that makes a lot of sense. And so I think the last piece of this that I wanted to talk about is, so if you're thinking about how you actually leverage those, because this really touches on like the direction we're going, right? More and more brands, big, small, and in the middle, are moving towards a broader topic of social commerce, right? And this includes live shopping events, and this includes influencers, right? And so are there any other things that you've heard your clients talking about of like, hey, we should target this year, we really need to double down on thing X or Y in the social commerce space?
See, 10 to 15 years back, the population that was about to start shopping was on internet, and e-commerce was born, right? Like everybody, like a website, you can now. So if you think about now, right, the next generation of shoppers that are likely to come have spent a lot of time on social media, right? Internet is nothing to them. But 10, 15 years back, the people who were shopping, internet was everything because they were engaging on internet. This generation is engaging on social media, which is why social commerce becomes extremely important, because this generation is going to shop for next another 10, 15 years until something new comes up, right? So which is why every brand, every retailer that is not thinking about affiliate marketing or social commerce is going to play a big game of catch up later. And I'm sure everybody is experimenting on this. Like Joey said, a lot of budget is being planned from the retailers that at least I work with. They are seriously thinking about this, and it is already big in countries like China. Most of their shopping kind of happens through social commerce. People are on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, where they're looking at reels and immediately making purchases. Investment into big stars have kind of gone away, and then investment into micro stars in the region have taken like stage right now.
Interestingly, I was referring to one of the affiliate strategies of one of the retailers. They are actually thinking of making the commissions higher, and not just that. If an influencer has a product that they are trying to create a reel about or write about, that now you can actually click on their links and land on that brand's landing page or maybe the blog page. I know Samsung did this. You have the whole Samsung blog page, and it was you could actually land there, then click on the product and come in. So these kind of connections are actually drawing more and more people into their web pages, which is what is then kicking off the e-commerce at another level.
Which is the perfect circle back to what we started with, right? Which is the e-commerce site being one of the first steps into the actual physical store, and vice versa, and that being able to track the omni-channel measurement across both of these things, seamless integration of both e-commerce and in-store, as well as then that leading into hyper-personalization, which gives you the data. You get the data for that from loyalty programs, from membership programs, from subscription services, right? And then finally, how do the direct consumer brands say, hey, how can I get my foot in the door here, right? And saying, well, one of the ways is beating the larger brands to the punch of engaging in the social commerce, right? And sort of those being the main things that we're looking at, that we've seen in 2024, we've seen some of the startings of, and what we really see is up and coming in 2025. And so I think the last question I have for each of you is, if you, when you go talk to your clients, what's the one thing that if they are not thinking about already, that you're going to say, look, your roadmap is not ready until you think of this, until you have a plan for this? What would you say, Amit? What's your one thing?
I think it is to understand how they should spend their marketing budget. Given there are different avenues in which they can take an action, given the growing need of social commerce, how they should be experimenting with their brand. If they don't have a very tight strategy thinking about this, it is going to be extremely difficult. And the big ways to reach out to your customers is through marketing and promotion, right? So if that is not well thought through, I mean, it's very difficult to drive growth.
Makes sense. And what about you, Joy?
I would say measurement. And I know measurement is a big term, but I would say measurement on personalization leading to hyper-personalization, making sure that you are making the right personalization or hyper-personalization strategy. And then also measurement of your loyalty program, like exactly what benefits or what additional incentives that you're giving, what is it driving in terms of engagement, in terms of sales, customer lifetime value, all of that. So measurement is going to be a very, very important thing in 2025.
And I think for me, when I've talked, mine's adjacent to both of yours, right? Which is to be able to answer the question that the question you posed, right? Which is, how do you measure and know where to spend, say, the next dollar, or how to reallocate the money, right? And you're saying, how do I measure the return I get on those? For me, it's, do you have a plan for how you are linking each of these siloed pieces of your company, right? How are you linking them together from a data foundations perspective? And say, how do you have a single source of truth that goes to pricing and promotions, that goes to the marketing budget decisions, that goes to the measurement of the return on that ad spend? Because all of that has to come from the same place, or you don't actually have an answer. And so that's the piece that I would say. So thank you all so much for your time and for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk here with us about the current state and the future state of retail. Hopefully we'll get to talk about this again next year, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Justin.